You're listening to the Late Night Football Show with your host, Rohit Singh. That's me. On this show, we talk about some of the most seriously silly topics from the world of football for your entertainment and enjoyment. Please remember that the show is BYOL. Bring your own laughs, since we don't have the budget for a studio audience. Happy listening. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. There's been a lot going on this week, and it's been a bit of an out of control week actually, with transfers and draws, and now the games. A bit like my hair, but we had a Champions League draw today, and we also have some Premier League games coming up this weekend. So we're going to focus on the Premier League games, but I just want to say that it's an interesting draw for some of the English clubs. I think Liverpool have a very interesting group with Ajax and Atlanta. Chelsea and City obviously have very easy groups. I mean, there's something going on with City, by the way. I'm just saying that they keep getting easy groups. And then United, of course, I think we'll probably be doing the Europa League reaction. I think from February onwards for Manchester United. I think that's what's going to happen. But nonetheless, we're going to talk about the Premier League weekend. It's a big weekend of action coming up, and we've got the broad representation of people, if not from clubs. The four of us here, we just represent two different clubs, but we're alive from four different countries. So we've got all the way from India. We've got Jay Shankar for his first time on the show. Jay, welcome. Yes.
Hi.
And then we got from all the way from Dhaka. We've got Zeehan. Welcome back to the show, Zeehan. After the La Liga preview show, we've got you back again for this one.
Great to be back.
Yes, and you're going to talk about Chelsea today, so that's going to be interesting turn of face. And then another Chelsea fan, we've got Kevin from California. So Kevin, welcome to the show as well.
Hi, thanks.
Yeah, so you've got four different countries. It's great, globalization. All right, so let's get right into it, and we'll start with the first game of the weekend. We're going to start with Chelsea against Crystal Palace, and it's interesting. It's an interesting game because I think Chelsea have now taken the mantle from Manchester United about being the club in crisis. Let's start with you, Zeehan. Do you think this criticism of Frank is going a bit overboard, or do you think that it's justified? We're only like 5 games into the season if you count the cup games. So do you think it's a bit too early to be starting to criticize Frank?
No, I mean, I'm just going to be very direct. I mean, we bought 7 first-team players. Even Eduardo Mendy is first-team player. So this is not FIFA. It takes time for these players to gel together, and it's not just going to work like that, right? I mean, we have to give them some time. And whatever you say, Lampard is kind of young. And I'll just say this, that Antonio Conte lost his first 3 games. We lost 3-0 to Arsenal. Then we won the league by 13 or 11 points. So, yes, it is too early.
Kevin, it's a good point about having 7 players and trying to gel them all together. But at what point do you think there would be serious questions starting to be asked? Would it be this if they lost this weekend, or do you think that there's still going to be more time for Lampard? Even at what point do you think those noises will start to get louder?
I think December is going to be pretty like such kind of period where we're going to have like questions. Everyone, including me, is going to start asking questions to Lampard. I mean, it's not just because Lampard's reputation; it's because Chelsea has been having past history of having so many managers and not being able to, stick to one. So I believe that the pressure is on as always, and I think that December should be like the mid, that particular mid game, mid-season questions kind of stuff. So I think I think at that time maybe I think the winter transfers are going to be important for all the other clubs. So let's see. Yeah,
I was gonna say winter transfers. Are you asking Chelsea to spend more money there?
No.
Spent enough already.
No
more.
No more.
Yeah, no, but the one thing is that you talk about December, I think it'll be interesting because Chelsea have got a pretty easy Champions League draw. I think they should get through it. They've got Sevilla, Rennes, and Krasnodar. I don't think they should have any problems finishing second at the very least. I think that should be fairly straightforward. So, you would expect them to be able to focus on two fronts at the moment pretty easily. But let's talk about the person and let's talk about the team. I think one of the areas, Kevin, that has been an area of concern is that midfield, because there's talk about what is an ideal. Let's assume that Chelsea play at midfield three, because it looks like that's what they are trying to play most games. What do you think is the ideal midfield three for Chelsea that they should be looking to play against Palace?
I think uh, Pulisic. Uh, I believe that Lampard has started playing Werner in the as a wing,
Yeah.
as a winger,
Hmm.
but it should not continue because seeing that Spurs game where Werner was probably playing wing, right?
Hmm.
So, but for wing, for midfield, it should be Kovacic, I believe, and Kante and uh, Jorginho maybe. I mean, Jorginho should start.
So you do want Jorginho to start? Would you?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
where would you
because
play
he play.
Havertz then?
Sorry.
So where would you play Havertz then?
Uh, when I saw the game, the Premier League game, I didn't think Havertz was playing so good, so well. But the recent games where Havertz was actually like he scored a hat trick, right?
And the League
So
Cup. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm still confused, but I'm still gonna go with Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic. Let's see.
Okay. Against Palace, that's one. Jay, do you think? What do you think? Do you think Havertz should start? I mean, we've lost Zeehan. I was going to ask him that, but nonetheless, he probably joined back again. Jay, what do you think? Would you start with Havertz, or would you start with Havertz in midfield, or would you start with him as a forward?
See, against Crystal Palace, I don't think you can start Havertz in midfield for sure. You need to be very based because Wilfried Zaha, you know what he's going to do. They're just going to sit back, they're going to lump balls forward, and they're going to let Zaha run, get in behind the defense. So I think Kante. See, I don't think Lampard is playing Kante correctly. Anyways, he's not playing him as a defensive midfielder. So I don't know what is going on over there because he was the best defensive midfielder in the world probably when they won the World Cup. And after that, maybe he's not played in his natural position. And regarding Havertz, I think they have a real problem over there because they've signed Hakim Ziyech, who can play from the right. If Havertz is playing in the forward line, he has to play from the right because Werner will go through the middle and left. Obviously, Christian Pulisic can go from the left. So you buy two players for more than 100 million combined to play in essentially one position, right? So against teams who sit back, maybe you can play Havertz in midfield, but against a team like Crystal Palace who do sit back but who are very dangerous on the counter, I don't think you should play Havertz. He's going to get bullied in the midfield for sure.
Okay. So Jihan, since you dropped off, I just wanted to recap for you. So Kevin has chosen his midfield three of Kante, Kovacic, and Jorginho against Crystal Palace. He thinks that's the midfield three. And I think both Jay and Kevin agree that Havertz, if he's going to play, he's going to play from the wing for this game. What do you think?
Okay, so I'm not going to just talk about Crystal Palace. I think they should fix on a starting 11.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what a winning team has to be. You can't keep switching all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the ideal midfield three, I'll also include I'll actually say an offensive six, midfield three, and attacking three.
Okay.
Warner strike, definitely has to be Warner strike. You have, the typical one: Warner, Ziyech on the left, Pulisic on the right, or they can be interchanging. They both have experience playing on both sides, so that'll be an interesting thing to see. Similar to what Barcelona used to do with that rotating front three. And I would suggest a more offensive midfield, so Havertz has to be in the middle. I mean, we brought him in because of that creativity. Something that Chelsea's lacked after Hazard was creativity. We've had those good midfielders, but that X factor, we've missed that. We've missed that for a while, and Havertz has that. And for me, it has to be Kante and Kovacic. Jorginho is an amazing player, but I don't know. He just doesn't seem to suit Lampard. And even though Lampard has said that he wants more of a holding mid, somebody who's just going to drop back and sit, Kante is still the best defensive midfielder in the world for me. Maybe it's not just me and Kevin here. Any non-Chelsea fan has to agree with that too. He is the best, if not at least one of the best defensive midfielders, so he has to be utilized more properly.
Yeah. Well, I think I might know one or two people. Oh, sorry, Kevin?
Yeah, I agree to that. I said.
I know one or two people on the group who might disagree with Kante being the best defensive midfielder in the world. Anyway, they probably know who they're watching. But no, but it's interesting. I mean,
Might be
Jorginho.
anti-France fans
Yeah. Well, I mean,
or
yeah.
Tottenham fans.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Jorginho is a player who divides opinion because there are people who think what he does is very unique, but then there are other people who probably don't see the value of or don't see what he brings that's different to the game. So it's interesting. I mean, I don't want to get too tactical, and because we have got to cover a lot. But who do you think is going to be the Jay? Who do you think is going to be the key player for Chelsea for this game, for Crystal Palace specifically?
Against Crystal Palace, see, they already have an issue with the goalkeeper. They've signed Mendy, right?
Did
But
pretty well, actually.
of course, but they've had mistakes at the back with the goalkeeper situation. I mean, Kepa. I mean, I don't know what happened to him, and that's always something to look for. I mean, it's a place where you need to look at. Where I mean, if is Mendy is going to be good enough, or it's just his second game, I believe. So you don't know what's going to happen there. But if Chelsea needs to win this game, I mean, obviously it's going to be their striker Timo Werner. I hope Lampard doesn't start Oliver Giroud, but I hope he starts with Timo Werner up front. He's going to be the key player for sure. Bang in the goals, get the win.
Yeah. Kevin, would you start Mendy or would you start Kepa?
I would definitely start Mendy. Any Chelsea fan would start Mendy.
Yeah, he did have a pretty good game against Spurs. Anyway, Jihan, who do you think is going to be the key player for Chelsea?
Well, considering that they're so defensive, it has to be Warner for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be his movement. He has to keep moving between the wings and then cutting back inside. He has to confuse the defense.
Yeah.
He has to somehow break that formation. Otherwise, we can't go in.
Yeah, I think the key player for
That's
me.
something Giroud doesn't bring.
Yeah, I think for me it will be Havertz and where he plays on that for that game. If he plays in midfield or whether he plays in the wing, I think that could decide the game. I don't know which way it'll go. I don't know, but I think where he plays will be interesting to see because, as you said, Crystal Palace are going to park the bus, so they probably need someone to break through that. They need creativity in the midfield. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. With that, let's start with you, Jihan. What do you think is going to be the score? What do you think is going to be the score for that game? What are you going with?
3-1 to Chelsea.
3-1 to Chelsea. Okay, Kevin.
Chelsea has to win, so it's gonna be like 2-1, I think.
2-1. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, Jay, what do you think?
I think Palace are going to sit back, defend really well. But then I think Werner will find a way through. It'll be 1-0.
1-0 to Chelsea. Okay, yeah. I think Chelsea should win. Yeah, I think 2-0. I'll go 2-0. I think Mendy will keep a clean sheet. It's Mendy, right? So if Mendy plays, it will be 2-0. I'll say that. I think that's my prediction. 2-0 to Chelsea. All right. Okay. So let's move on to the next one, and we're going to talk about I think the most anticipated game of the weekend, and it's not Spurs. It's actually Leeds against Manchester City. I think that is the game that a lot of people are looking forward to. And I have to say, UEFA are doing a much better job of keeping this title race, Premier League title race, going than Liverpool. Than Manchester City, because I think the only reason that City have got such an easy draw is because UEFA wants to see a Premier League title race. So because Liverpool will do some exertion in the Champions League, City can probably play their reserves and get through, and maybe there might be something there. I don't know. But let's talk about Leeds against Manchester City. Kevin, you'd have to start Ruben Diaz, right, for this one. I think if he's fit, if he's ready, he's got to start.
Yeah, but I think just like Thiago didn't start for Chelsea, or let's say, I don't know, any other player which just signed like just a few days back, I don't think they should start personally, because it takes time to settle in the team. So it should be Laporte and I don't know, AK, I guess. So for me, there should be like the new signing should be in the bench or maybe something.
Yeah,
but of course, everyone should have can have different opinions.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the only reason why Laporte and Ake would not start is because they're both left-footed. I think that might be something. But Jihan, you dropped. Did you drop off? Are you still with us?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you dropped off. Jihan, what do you think? Would you start Ruben Diaz? I mean, it looks like they need something different after the last game. But would you start Ruben Diaz or would you put him on the bench? And then you're probably going to start Stones, right? Because that's the only option.
I actually have to side with Kevin here. I mean, he just came in and it's not any team. It's a Pep Guardiola team. I mean, even the goalkeeper has to know how to pass. So a new player coming in, we can again. I'm going to bring in FIFA here. You can think about tiki taka in FIFA all you want because it's just one mind. Here you have 11 minds. So a new player coming in, I don't think he can adjust with the tiki taka instantly. So I'll also side with the defensive pair that he's gone with too. I wouldn't start
Okay,
him.
Laporte, yeah. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, that really is the only option if he doesn't start Diaz because they don't really have any other options.
Yeah, they don't have any options.
It's sad. Jay, I think we did the match reaction last week, and what we agreed was that City didn't actually play that badly. Like you would say that the defense was caught out, but it didn't look like anybody had a really like shocking game where you were like, this player should not start. But still, there's something wrong, isn't there? What changes would you make to the team that started the last game? Is there any changes that what would you make personnel wise?
The only thing is with Leicester City, they got Jamie Vardy, and he just wins penalties with his pace in behind, and that's just what he does.
I thought that was
And I can actually remember one game against United where it actually forced Louis van Gaal to change the entire 4-4-2 diamond, and then it all went south. It was that Leicester City game where Jamie Vardy just, that was in for Rafael as well in a United shirt. I think so. So, I don't think Leeds do play really well. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. They do play really well. They don't sit back. They just try to attack. They pass. But, City are the best at it. So I don't think you can outpass City in any game. So if they try to take the game to City, which I'm sure they will because, Bielsa is that kind of a manager, I think Leeds are going to get smashed in this game. 3 or 4-0 for sure.
Okay, well, that's bold prediction. But let's, Jihan, who do you think is going to be the key player for City? For Manchester City.
If I could, I wanted to actually kind of, to some extent, counter what Jay said. I mean,
sure, yeah, of course.
Just in a nutshell, we thought the same about Liverpool, but they went to Anfield and they almost humiliated Liverpool. So I actually have to give it to Leeds. I mean, they're not what they were when we were kids, like back in 2000 or 2001. Definitely they're not. They were just promoted this year, right? But the spirit I saw in them, I think that last time I saw that was in the 15-16 season. I don't think they're going to win the league like Leicester City, but they're really giving the big team the run for their money. I mean, Liverpool almost lost. City could do the same too. I don't know. So, yeah, and the football kind of says it too. I mean, yes, Jay is right. You can't outplay City. But one thing I have to say is Pep Guardiola at times can be very arrogant. So whilst the small teams need to adjust to the big teams, sometimes the big teams need to adjust accordingly too. That's what Mourinho did. Mourinho would adjust to every team there was. So, but Pep Guardiola won't do that. He might just be surprised. And getting back to your question.
To add to that point, yeah. One second. Just to add that one thing is the reason why I say Manchester City will smash Leicester, will smash Leeds, is because they got smashed last week. And it's I know they played in the midweek in the Cup. It's a very next Premier League game. I think they're going to come all guns blazing. They're going to kill the game in the first 20-25 minutes. And then Leeds can do their fancy passing and all that. I don't think it's going to work at all. I mean, of course, it might work, but then it's Manchester City. And you know what they're about. I don't think they're going to let it go.
See, I'm trying to figure out, Jay, are you really that confident in Man City's chances, or are you trying to jinx them? Because I'm really I'm on the fence about this. The way that you're so confident in Manchester City, they're going to do this. They're going to do this. They're not that good, But nonetheless, I think that's interesting. But I don't think it will be a blowout. I think that what will determine is how good City's defense is. Because if they defend like the way they did against Leicester, Leeds are going to tear them apart because Leeds are basically, like, I would say, a low adrenaline version of City. They're like City, but probably, a little bit but with inferior players. Like, City are basically an upgraded Leeds. So it's going to be fire against fire. And if City don't counter that, what Leeds offer, then they could be in for a rough night.
They're just going to wait for them to make a mistake. And then, as always, Leeds just push to the goal. So I think that once one of the defenders or even the goalkeeper makes some mistake from City, I think Leeds will show them.
Yeah, for sure. On that note, Kevin, who do you think is going to be the key player for City?
I think it has to be Sterling for me. Of course, if it plays.
Yeah, he'll probably play. I mean, they can't play. They don't have
It's
strikers.
Pep. It's Pep.
So yeah, for sure. Gian, I asked you this question. I'll ask you again. Who do you think is going to be the key player for City?
I'm sorry,
Also, I mean, who's going
just
to
to
be
get
the
my facts
key
right.
player?
KDB is going to play, right?
Yeah, well, we hope so. Yeah, we never know, but
KDB
yeah,
is playing, right?
yeah, I would assume so. Yeah.
KDB. And if KDB is not playing, if he's not playing, then, and only if he's not playing. If he's playing, he's the key player. If he's not playing, it might go to Silva if he starts. Yeah,
Bernardo.
Bernardo Silva.
Yeah. I see no reason why De Bruyne wouldn't play, because there's nothing after this. We're going into the international break after this, so there's no reason not to play him. Like, it's not like there's a big game coming up. So I would assume De Bruyne would start. I think for me the key player for me would have to be whoever starts in that defensive midfield role, whether that's Rodri or Fernandinho. We'll have to see who starts, but that is going to be the key, because he's going to have to be the one to screen that back four, because Leeds are porous defensively. They're not that good defensively. So there's always going to be chances coming for City. But the question is, how often will they be able to stop Leeds from attacking? I think that will be key. But on that note, Jay, predict score. We got your predicted score already, but what's your final verdict on the score? What's it going to be? 3-0, 4-0 final?
3-0 City.
Okay, you're going a bit modest there. Kevin, what do you think is going to be the score?
Is it home or away for City?
Leeds are at home. It's away.
Yeah. For one thing is sure, Leeds are gonna score. For me, I feel that. So it should be 3-1 or 3-2 for City. So City is gonna win with 3-2.
City. Gian, what do you think?
To be honest, this is the hardest game to predict.
It's never easy.
To be honest, I wish I could say that either team would win 3-2, but I guess I have to put it to somebody. So for some reason, I think Leeds might just come off with the win. I don't know why. I just have this feeling. They're doing pretty well. They're surprising us. They're motivated.
3-2 to Leeds. Yeah. Is that your verdict, Gian? 3-2 to Leeds?
Yeah, 3-2 to Leeds.
I'll go a bit bold. I'll say it'll be 4-3 to Manchester City. But it'll be 4-3. It won't be 3-2. It'll be 4-3. But interesting, Leeds did keep a clean sheet in the last game, which I didn't expect. So we'll see. Maybe they're onto something defensively. All right, so that's another good game done. Let's move on to some of the smaller clubs now, and we're going to talk about Arsenal and Sheffield. No, there's no Arsenal fan today, is there? So
I thought we were going to talk about Spurs and United.
No, those. Well, actually, that's
that comment is going to get this video a lot of dislikes.
I know. Yes, I always make fun of it. No. Okay, no, we'll give the respect. Arsenal against Sheffield. Let's talk about that one. I think it's an interesting game because Arsenal. It's hard to play, right? I think Arsenal a very good bet. A good bet for top 4 this year. I think they definitely have the squad to compete on that. And yet some people, I don't know, Arsenal fans are a little bit low key. I don't know. I think it's like the whole thing about I'm not wanting to jinx it, cautious optimism. Let's start with you, Jay, this time. Jay, what do you think? Gabriel didn't start the last game against Liverpool for some reason, so you'd expect him to start now for this one on the weekend. You would expect Gabriel to start.
I think he should start because you got David Luiz in there. Which on his day he can be a good passer of the ball, but then he also has mistakes. A lot of them. So you never know what version of David Luiz you're going to get. So, but then the way Arsenal play, they always try to play out from the back, like always. They never hit it long. Mm-hmm. So for that, I feel David Luiz is kind of important over there. So you can actually try to pair Gabriel with David Luiz maybe, or you can go with the 5 at the back, which they do a lot of times. I think that could work. But Arsenal, one thing I've noticed about Arsenal is that, they're not getting, outplayed like, Arsenal before Arteta used to get outplayed like anything. You just watch the game, like what the fuck is happening. You just don't know, right? But now under Arteta, they seem to be a little bit more composed on the ball. They seem to know what they're trying to do. They seem to have a plan. Yeah. So I think they're good for Europe this season.
Yeah, for sure. Zeehan, this is a critical week for Arsenal. I don't know how much you've been following, but they are after a couple of players. They're after Ewa, they're after Thomas Partey. It's a critical week in some ways. Now, none of those players will start for Arsenal because we kind of passed the deadline at this point. So even if they sign, they won't start. But it's not a transfer reaction show, but do you think Arsenal are going to go all in now for AOR and Partey? Do you think they'll get both of them? Do you think they'll get one of them? Do you think they'll get none? What do you think's gonna?
I honestly have no idea why Arsenal are taking this long. I mean,
Yeah.
Partey is not really getting the games, getting the minutes for Atletico Madrid right now. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to hold Atletico Madrid at a higher regard than Arsenal right now. I mean, Atletico Madrid competes with Real and Barca. Arsenal, just before a few months ago, they could not compete with Sheffield. So Partey would be an amazing addition to Arsenal. I don't know why they aren't doing it, but I am very confident that they'll get Aurier. I'm sorry if I got his name wrong.
Yeah.
Willian himself was an amazing addition. I know, I've seen him for 7 years. He's always been an amazing soldier for us. And Willian could be a huge key for Arsenal this season. We did not give him the proper minutes for the past 2 years because we've had younger players or we've had many options. But in Arsenal, he's going to show what he's made of. I mean, I remember this one run against Liverpool. He tracked back from the attack. The moment his teammate lost the ball, he tracked back and he recovered the ball in his own box. And then he started the attack again. So maybe Arsenal feel like they have that right squad already. I don't know, but they really should get somebody else because a defensive midfielder like Partey himself would be an amazing addition.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like Arteta is building a nice, hard-working team. Kevin, final question on this one, and we'll talk about Sheffield. Here. 3 losses on the bounce. They had a very good season by all accounts last year. If they lose to Arsenal, is it now time to start worrying about relegation?
Relegation, definitely. Sheffield hasn't scored a single goal since the start of the Premier League.
Yeah.
So
And
I think it's definitely a worry. I feel it's definitely it's a worry. But considering it's a game against a team like Arsenal, I think that they should wait for like maybe at least one or 2 games more, because Arsenal considering it's a good team as opposed to Sheffield. Yeah. So let's see.
Yeah, I mean, but they still have to look at performances because not scoring a goal.
Definitely
tough, isn't it? And they didn't have a good post-lockdown period either, so there's some concern there. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think this year that there will definitely be some panic stations. On that note, Jay, who do you think is going to be the key player for Arsenal for this one? Jay? Oh, I think we've lost Jay for a second. All right, Zeehan, I'll transfer that over to you. Who do you think is going to be the key player for Arsenal in this one?
I mean, when you think of Arsenal nowadays, you already have that one name except of Arteta, Aubameyang. But I think Willian needs to put in another shift too. So Willian, yeah.
Kevin, who do you think is going to be the key player?
I think these days Lacazette has been playing really nice. So I think the key player has to be and should be Lacazette for me.
All right. And predict scores for you guys. What do you think is going to be the score?
I'll go easy win for Arsenal. 2-0, or if Sheffield is able to score, then it's 2-1 max.
Do you think Sheffield will score?
Very difficult, but they have pressure.
Yeah.
And Arsenal have been sloppy, considering they have David Lewis. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Zeehan, what do you think?
3-0 to Arsenal. Simple as that.
Yeah.
They're doing way too well right now. They beat us for the FA Cup. They beat Liverpool for the Community Shield. It wasn't too long ago. They're winning all their matches. Just a loss against Liverpool really doesn't matter. 3-0 to Arsenal.
For sure. And looks like Jay is back online again. Yeah, we're having lots of internet issues today. So, but nonetheless. Okay. Hey, Jay. Welcome back. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. Well, let's ask you. What do you think is going to be the score? Arsenal against Sheffield United. What do you think is going to be the score?
I can see an Arsenal win. Easy win for Arsenal. 2-0.
2-0. Okay, so we got a 2-0, 2-0, 3-0. Okay, that's good. Yeah, all right. That's great. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's going to be an easy win for Arsenal. Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'll say 2-0. 2-0, I think it's about right. They might go 3 though if Sheffield lose their heads. All right. Well, the big game of the weekend. We're going to talk about that now. Manchester United against Tottenham. And it's not actually, in most circumstances, it would be a very uneventful game. but there is some spice that Jose and Ole are having this kind of banter. I don't know what's going on. It's like some of the most ridiculous things that they've talked about. They've talked about goalposts. They've talked about VAR penalties. They're talking about Bruno Fernandes. I don't know what's going on. It's all kinds of what happened to mind games, right? All right, let's start with you, Jay. Would you start Eric Bailly in this one? Would you start him knowing his injury record? But would you start Bailly, or would you be like, well, no, we just got to stick with Maguire and Lindelof?
I'd like to start Bailly along with Maguire, but then I think Maguire and Lindelof have something going on. I mean, we were one of the best defenses. Last year, with them starting most of the games, and they have started the Premier League games this season as well. I don't think there's a need to change. And though I'd like to start Bailly, but I think against Tottenham, you need to be very solid. You need to go with what you know, and you need to stick to the same 11, I suppose, other than bring Matic in.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kevin, yeah, it's interesting as well. He talks about, Maguire and Lindelof. I think the only issue with Bailly is you almost like are risking a substitution because, somebody probably might get injured. But would you start with Bailly, considering that he's the only one with pace, right? I mean, would you start him? Or would you?
Yeah, I think Bailly is a good player, so they should start him no matter the risk. They need to have a good result.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah, and that's going to be key. I think one of those key decisions to take. Jihan, those Spurs, they have a Europa League. They had a Europa League game today. They've been playing a lot of games. It's difficult to say what kind of team that they put out. But now with Son injured, how do you see that front? Well, I guess it's a front two because he's playing a back three. So how do you see that stacking up? Who would you start with Kane? Would you start Bergwijn or would you start Mora? Or would you start all three and play a 3-4-3?
Well, Son being injured is a very big problem. So Kane has been beautiful as a center forward, a support striker. So I think Mourinho is just going to go with a solution where he gets somebody who can just score the goals.
Yeah.
And I think he's just going to go with youth right now, because again, Mourinho, at least what he thinks or what he says is he's going to be some long-term manager for Tottenham. Who, by the way, are a much more patient team than anybody who's managed before. So, yeah, I think that's what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, when he says long term, he
Kane
might
back
4 years instead of 3 years. So that might be long term for him.
5 years. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. So yeah, so you'd start with Bergwijn?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bergwijn.
Easily.
Yeah, I think, and he did score a goal in the last time they played. So yeah, definitely. Might make sense. Jay, would you start with a back three and then would you start a 3-4-3 and give up that midfield battle, or would you go with the 3-5-2
For Spurs?
Yeah, for Spurs.
It's Jose. He's definitely going to park the midfield for sure. He'll probably play with Kane up front. Whoever the wingers are, both the wingers are going to be tugged in towards midfield.
Well, they're wing backs, so
Yeah. Maybe, or he might start with 5 across midfield and then just bring it back, and 3 he'll probably go with Lo Celso and who's the other one? Probably not Ndombele. I think he's injured, right?
No, it'll probably be Hojbjerg. It was Hojbjerg and Bing in the last one. So
yeah, Jose against big clubs, how he's going to line up. He's not going to go with 3 up front for sure. He'll definitely go 1 up front, 5 across midfield, or 5 across defense both ways, and he's going to park the midfield right in the midfield battle and play on the counter.
Yeah. Kevin, controversial question for you. He scored a goal in the last game. Would you start Pogba or would you start Donny van de Beek?
I would start Pogba because Pogba has been. I in my opinion, I would start both. But if you're asking one of them, it's difficult. But it can be Pogba, considering defensive options.
Yeah, well, we shall see. That is a big decision to make. But on that note, Jihan, who do you think is going to be the key player for Manchester United?
Pogba.
Pogba.
If he starts, midfield is very important. Today is all about midfield. It's all about midfield. Both teams have amazing midfields, and like he said, it's Mourinho. We know he's going to park the midfield. Yeah. So every time he's been with Chelsea, that's all I've seen. Mourinho is all about that midfield game. If he gets that right, he wins today, and he knows Pogba is his most instrumental midfielder.
Yeah. Jay, what do you think for United? What do you think is going to be key?
Pogba without doubt is our best player. There's no doubt about it. He's our best player for sure. But the thing is, in this game, I don't think Pogba is disciplined enough defensively. Okay, so what we can do is start with Matic, who can do that role, defensive midfielder. We might need Van de Beek and Bruno Fernandes. They both can pass the ball. They both can get out of tight situations, and that could come in handy when the midfield is parked, like how it definitely is going to be. And then the Pogba can always come off the bench like an X factor, and he can just influence the game from the bench. I think that'll be a better fit than starting Pogba up front and being disappointed within 60 minutes. He'll be frustrated, and Pogba, if he once he gets frustrated and his head's down, he's not going to produce anything. So bringing Pogba on at the 60-65 minute mark can change the game.
Mm-hmm.
But till then, keep it tidy. We need to attack. We need to pass the ball properly and get Rashford and whoever starts on the right wing, get them involved and try to attack.
It's going to be Greenwood.
Yeah, I'm gonna counter Jay with that. I think that the only reason United didn't start Pogba against Brighton and Hove is because he didn't start, right?
No, he came on last 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's probably because
you're talking about the League Cup, right?
yeah, the Carabao Cup. Yeah, and it's probably because Ole might want him against Spurs at front. I mean, at the start.
Yeah, I think Pogba will start. I wouldn't start him, but yeah, I think he will start that one. He scored a goal as well, so now you've got a justification to start him. I would ask you guys who's going to be the key player for Spurs, but I think it's going to be Harry Kane. Like we all, does anybody have any other answer aside from Harry Kane? I'm kidding. I'm sorry, Spurs fan, but no, there isn't, right? Yeah, no, because we're on time. So yeah, so all right. Yeah,
I think it has to be the defensive midfield.
defensive. Okay.
I think key player is in the defensive midfield.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I mean, we're talking about one of the fastest attacks in the world. I think it is. I think Man U have the fastest attack in the world. I'm not sure. So
Maybe. Yeah, I
defensive
well, I mean,
midfield
unless
really-
you want to talk Dortmund, who have got Sancho and Haaland, then I mean, they're quite fast. But yeah,
Are we forgetting Arsenal?
who do they have?
oh right,
Willian?
right.
Well, Arsenal.
But Willian, I won't
Aubameyang.
say he's the fastest pony there is. I mean, just look at them, James, Martial, and Rashford. I mean, wow.
It'll be Greenwood.
Wow,
Well, it won't be
they're
James.
fast.
Yeah, Greenwood is fast too. It'll be Greenwood. Yeah, James is only fast. So
He's fast too.
yeah, Greenwood is good.
Right. Playing for Spurs is going to be Harry Kane for sure. He's going to get one chance, and if he buries it, they'll win the game.
Yeah, that's the big issue, isn't it? The defense is going to be strong. I think we might even play a back five against Spurs. To be honest, I don't know what I literally generally don't know what's going to happen with that one. But anyway, on that note, predicted scores. Kevin, what do you think is going to be the score?
Very difficult to predict. It has to
We
be
don't
a
make
draw. It has to be a one all draw.
Yeah. Jian, what do you think?
2-1 Spurs.
2-1 to Spurs. All right. Jay.
I think we'll nick it 2-1. 2-1 to United.
Okay, so you got a draw, a win, and a draw and a win for Spurs and a win for Manchester United. You got like all a complete tie, 1-1-1. No, I can't see United winning this one. Honestly, I cannot. With this squad that they have right now, and they're not going to be able to add to it, so they're not going to win. It's going to be either a lucky draw or they're going to lose. I mean, I probably think it will be a 1-0 to Spurs. I think that's what it's going to be. I cannot see United winning this one.
One chance for Harry Kane, and he'll bury it.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. That the United are going to keep battering, and then there'll be a chance. But on that note, what could happen?
We'll get a penalty, bro. Don't worry.
Yes, well, that's the thing. That's the funny thing. I was going to ask, like, what chances is that there's going to be a handball penalty in that game? I'm just trying to see Mourinho blow up just for that.
100%.
That there will
100%. 100%.
Yeah, there will be a handball penalty.
I'm already imagining a Mourinho rant about it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He scored Bruno Fernandes scored 8 penalties in half of a season. How is that even possible? Teams are awarded less than 8 penalties in an entire season. He got 8 in half a season.
Well, that's I mean, it's weird as well because I always look at United games, and this is something I'll say. I know we're going a bit over on time, but one thing I always notice with United is most of the penalties they get, if the defender just let the player be, there wouldn't be a goal because they would have no way of scoring goals. But the defenders still feel the need to tackle them. Like all the penalties that we've had so far, I think, as I said last season, only 2 were probably iffy. The others were all legit, and it's just even this what we got this season so far, they've all been legit. The only thing is if they just let that play go, there would not be a goal. They just had to not.
The penalty rule is anyway ridiculous this season.
Yeah. Well, the one that the handball was a ridiculous handball from Mope, and then the other one that we got against Luton was a penalty. So
I'm saying the rule this season is just ridiculous. I mean,
yes.
they give everything.
Yeah, and I
Then
know
what
the
rule?
referees have said that they will be lenient with that rule now. Like they've said that into it, that they're going to be more lenient with the rules. I don't know what's going to happen now. Like they've already screwed a few teams over. Now we're going to not screw the other teams over. It's just weird. But on that note, let's go to the final game. We're going to talk about Aston Villa against Liverpool. You have to say if City lose or draw, and I'll ask Kevin, if City lose or draw and then Liverpool win this one, you have to say the race is over, right? There's no race. I mean, I think it's over already, but you have to say it's over, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's over. But considering they have, I mean, there is Leicester still in the race.
Leicester, Everton. I mean, like seriously, are we really expecting Leicester and Everton are there as well? They've won 3 out of 3. Are we really?
Yeah, I don't think Everton is ever gonna win the league ever.
I mean, are we really expecting those guys to have the squad to challenge? I think Leicester would be challenging if they weren't playing
Yeah.
in Europe. But they are
Mhm.
playing in Europe and they're going to have that issue. Everton,
Mhm.
and what do you think, Jihan? Do you think the title race would be over if City lose or draw and then Liverpool win?
Well, I could say that, but then I think about the 2011-12 season. I mean, in December, Man U was 8 points top, and then City was 8 points top, and then I think again Man U was 8 points top, and then at the end of this entire season, City won it with seconds remaining. So again, I think it's too early to say. I mean, even if the difference would be 4 or 5 points from now between two teams, I don't think it's enough to separate them. Liverpool are rampant, let's be honest, but I think all of us here can agree that after the COVID break, they have not been the Liverpool that we've seen at the start of the season. They have not been winning as many games, and in fact, I think if we did not beat City, they wouldn't have won the league as soon as they did. They would win the league either ways, but they'd probably take another round or two. So yeah, it's too early. It's too early. I think maybe we should wait till at least December or January to understand who's going to win the league, or make an idea of it.
You guys are just too optimistic. You guys are okay. Okay, let me just mention on that one about what you were saying. Liverpool not winning as much. They were not winning as much because pre-lockdown they were winning every game. So it was going to be hard to. They were obviously not going to win as much if they lost even one because they're just winning every game. But no, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it hurts me to say this because I'm a United fan, so it hurts me. But Jay, I know about Kevin and Jay, and they seem very
It
optimistic.
hurts you either way. I mean, you have no way to go. You hate Liverpool and you hate City.
You were just waiting for us to mention United.
No,
Nothing else.
I don't know. No, but Jay, I mean, it's the thing is, I watched Liverpool and I'm trying to figure out what is their weakness. What is the point that somebody can where I can see that there's a chance for someone to get to try to get a win. I don't see how any team, and I cannot see City beating Liverpool. In a one-off game, I would pick Liverpool to beat City. Obviously, that is not how football works, and there's always upsets and things like that. But do you see anyone like catching up to Liverpool? I mean, it could all change. I mean, they could lose to Aston Villa of all teams, but realistically, I mean, are we seeing that Liverpool are probably going to run to the title? What do you think?
See, everything suggests that they're going to run to the title, but then Manchester City, they have chased down they've chased down leads in multiple seasons, and some big leads that too. So you cannot count Manchester City out in October. The season has just started. Okay, but Liverpool, they look unstoppable at the moment. As much as it hurts me to say that, the only thing that gives me hope is they've made mistakes at the back this season. I mean, they're not their usual self at the back, so that gives me a little bit hope that they might crumble. And Liverpool in the past have crumbled easily. So even before they won the Premier League, everyone was saying, even in January when they had double-digit lead, they were saying we were using that. We use a template, we use a troll to say that we all know how the elephant got. Got there, and we all know how it will fall. We don't know how the elephant got up the tree, but we know it will fall. So using that analogy to talk about Liverpool, but then let's just hope that they don't do it this season. I'd rather City than Liverpool, and that hurts me. That hurts me as well. But I don't want Liverpool to catch up to us.
Yeah.
They're on 19, we're on 20, and I'd rather City win.
Yeah, when you say City, you mean Leicester City, right? So
yeah, Newcastle United.
Kevin, you saying?
I have noticed that every time Liverpool concedes, they also tend to bounce back that much. Like they have scored in that much, in more than the force, So I think that it's not going to be so easy to predict this time. But I'm gonna agree with Zian to wait till December.
Yeah. Well, you guys can wait till December. There's no problem. I know what's going to happen. So that you guys can. It's no, I'm just kidding. But no, but it does seem tough. But nonetheless, I mean, we live in a world of hyperboles, so we'll always have that. But Kevin, so many players to pick from. But who do you think is going to be the key player for Liverpool?
For Liverpool, Mane was pretty good last game against Arsenal. So I'm gonna go with Mane or Salah. But for me, it's Mane. Let's see
Yeah,
if he plays. I mean, because they already have a game right today against Arsenal, and then there's gonna be another game on Monday, right, against Aston Villa.
Yep.
So yeah, if Mane plays, it has to be Mane. Otherwise, Salah.
Jian, what do you think?
Well, the media and all the Facebook posts and everything is going to show us probably Mane or Salah, but I have to talk about their new unsung hero, and that's Thiago. I don't know if you saw his stats against Chelsea. They were mind-blowing. Mm-hmm. I think he made the greatest number of passes against a single team in a single game in Premier League history or something like that, and he played for only half time. So Thiago will not. He probably won't get a hat-trick of assists like Kane did, or score a goal or maybe something. But I think he's gonna be the dictator of the game. So unsung hero, it will be Thiago. But media, Mane.
Yeah, I think you're missing the fact that Thiago has tested positive for COVID.
Yeah, so he won't be playing that game.
Oh right, I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry for that. Right.
Okay, yeah, so it won't be Thiago, sadly.
But
he will be key to making sure that nobody else gets infected. No, that's something I'll have to do. Maybe COVID is the only thing that can stop Liverpool. I hope not, though. I hope nothing happens to the Liverpool players. I hope they're all good. So Jian, do you want to change your answer?
Yeah. Well, since the unsung hero isn't there, the sung hero is still there, Mane.
Well, nobody's picking player of the year, Jordan Henderson. No, okay, it's like a running joke that I keep making.
Henderson is he's consistently really good. I mean, everybody has good games. Henderson has 38 consistent good games, but he's never really that X factor.
No, and I'm just messing around. This is a running joke with people. John Henderson. Jay, what do you think is going to be the score? How many goals are you going with for Liverpool? 5, 6?
Okay. I think Liverpool will win easily. I mean, it's going to be a walk for Liverpool. I mean, Aston Villa, though they have signed Ross Barkley, I don't know if he'll play. They have Barkley, they have Grealish, they have decent attacking midfielders, but Liverpool are just too good, and I think they'll walk the game 3-4-0 maybe.
3-0 or 4-0?
4-1. Let's say Barkley 4-1.
4-1. Okay, Barkley's going to score. That will rub Chelsea fans the wrong way. Barkley scores. Jihan, what do you think? Score is going to be final score.
4-1.
4-1.
Liverpool will dominate, but Liverpool's defense is too leaky. One goal has to go in.
Okay, Kevin, what do you think?
I think Villa has failed to score right this season, I guess.
No, I think they scored. They won a game. They won as well.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. So, but still, I'll go with 2-0 Liverpool.
2-0?
Let's see.
Yeah, I think it'll be 2-0 or 3-0. Yeah, Liverpool don't do those big blowouts anymore. They try to conserve their energy. So, yeah, probably be 2-0, 3-0. Yeah, probably 2-0. Let's say 2-0. All right, awesome. Okay, well, that concludes our reviews. We missed out on teams like Leicester and Everton. I know that. But unfortunately, I think there are teams that need to be discussed, and we'll probably discuss them in our match reactions when we do that. So we'll talk about them. So in any case, if any Everton or Leicester fans are watching, I'm sorry, but we do not have a lot of time to talk about that stuff. So we'll leave that. But thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you so much, Jihan and Jay, for joining me today to do this match preview, Matchday preview show. We really appreciate it, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Great to be here.
Yes, it was a pleasure to be here. If you like that video, please remember to like and share, and also subscribe to our channel if you're new. We've got to 84, so let's try to get to 90. We're going to have a lot of shows, actually. If things go right, we're going to have a lot of shows over the next few days because there's a lot of things happening, and we're going to have that. So please remember to subscribe so you can get your notifications about whenever these new episodes come out. Please remember to do that. It'll help us get to 90. Let's see if we can get to 90 subscribers by the end of the weekend. With small goals, so help us get there. That's only 6 more people, actually. So, but thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Late Night Football. We need your help to grow this channel, so if you've been enjoying the show thus far, please do like and subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, drinking buddies, fellow football fans, and anybody else you know or don't know. We'd really appreciate it. Please also follow us on Twitter and Facebook via the links in the description below and spread the word about us. Take care.